back to my channel. So today for you guys, I have some Dollar Tree Christmas projects that are beautiful. And this video is sponsored by Cricut. I know I am freaking out that I've been sponsored by Cricut. You guys know I have used my Cricut plenty of times in my videos, but in this video I'm going to go into more detail on how I use the Cricut exactly and show you everything that I did to create and customize these projects. Cricut is an electronic cutting machine. It cuts things like vinyl, cardstock, foam. It can even cut leather and wood depending on the Cricut machine that you get. I'm being sponsored to show you guys what you're able to make with the Cricut, not on what I say about the Cricut, and I feel like the Cricut is an amazing thing to invest in, whether it is because you're going to see your money back because you're saving money. I recently had my son's birthday and I made the Sesame Street cutouts, the labels, everything on my own without having to go buy it from other stores, and I saved money that way. Or the other thing you can do is make things and sell them. So in my opinion, it is definitely an investment, and a really great investment if you're into crafting. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Some of these projects are some of my favorite projects I've ever done using Dollar Tree products for the Christmas season. I hope you guys enjoy, like I said, and with that being said, let's begin. For our first DIY from Dollar Tree, we're going to be using this big circle wood round. Dollar Tree recently got it in and it's perfect for making wreaths. Now I'll be painting the wood. I didn't have any painter's tape on hand, so originally I decided to use a ruler to try to get a straight line. I used apple barrel paint in candy apple to paint the top portion of the wood round. And as I made that line, I realized a ruler wasn't really going to work. So I ended up getting some Scotch tape, and that ended up working out for me. And then to the bottom, I painted it Christmas Green by Apple Barrel. I'll be using the Cricut Explore 3 for these projects. If you own the Cricut Explore 2 and are wondering about the differences between the two, the Cricut Explore 3 cuts up to 2 times faster than the Cricut Explore 2. It can also cut up to 12 feet of vinyl as long as you're using smart vinyl, and you do not need a cutting mat if you're using smart vinyl. It's really cool. Time to make our designs. You're going to open Cricut Design Space and start a new project. Now I love to use the images in my Cricut. All you have to do is click the image icon in the left of the bar, and that's going to take you into all of the images that are on Cricut Design Space. Some are free and some you have to pay for. If you have a subscription, you unlock a lot of different images. So I typed in Merry Christmas. When you find an image you like, all you have to do is click the image, and on the bottom right corner, click Add to Canvas. And that's going to put it on top of your canvas. Then you just resize the image to be whatever length and width that you want it to be. I am going to be cutting this on some white vinyl, so I want to change the color of this. All I have to do is click the image, and at the very top you'll see a little color square. You click that square and then you can change the color to whatever color you want. So I changed it to white because I'm using a white vinyl. Now you can really personalize this to have people's names or last names. I decided to go with a last name. I did the Okendos 2021. I messed around with a couple of different fonts and sizes before I decided to go with Embassy ST Regular. I made sure to change the color of the font to white so that it is cut along with the Merry Christmas on white vinyl. Once ready for your Cricut to cut, click the right top corner where it says Make It, and that's going to bring you into a different page. Because I am using smart vinyl, I'm going to click Without Mat to cut. If you want to move things around on this page, you most definitely can. Everything looked good to me, so I was ready to click the Continue button that's on the bottom right corner. This is going to bring me to a new page where I choose my base material. The base material I'm using is Smart Vinyl Permanent, so I made sure to click that. Now I'm ready to load my vinyl inside of my machine. I'm going to be using the Cricut roll holder to hold my vinyl. What this does is it secures and guides your rolls of smart materials into your cutting machine. It makes it really easy, and once it is done cutting, you just take the little slider that has a blade on it to cut the vinyl. The Cricut machine is really good at telling you what you need to do. So when it's blinking with those arrows that go up and down, that means you have to load your vinyl in or unload. And if it's blinking with the play button, that means you need to press the button to start the cutting process.
So you can see that the arrows are blinking here. That means I need to unload the vinyl. Before I do that, I cut the vinyl off of my smart roll. I move the smart roll, then I press the arrows and it unloads my vinyl so that I could pick it up and start weeding. So what is weeding? Weeding is the process of removing any excess vinyl. So initially you're going to take off the main strip of vinyl that you don't need, and that's going to reveal your design underneath the vinyl. Then you're going to go in with your Cricut weeder and use this to remove any excess vinyl that are in harder to reach areas. So things that are very small are detailed. So in between the letters, you can see that I am removing any excess vinyl, and this weeder makes it really easy to remove the vinyl. Next up, you'll get some transfer tape, cut it down, and place that over your vinyl. Transfer tape makes it easy to transfer your design on different surfaces without messing up the intricacy of your design. Now take your scraper and go over the transfer tape. This scraper is going to help fuse the vinyl into the transfer tape so you're able to transfer your vinyl to your project. Scrape both the front and back of your vinyl. Once it's ready, you're going to peel the plastic backing from the transfer tape, and this is going to reveal your design on the transfer tape. Once that is done, it's time to transfer it to our project. Once I have the transfer tape down, I go back with my scraper and I scrape the vinyl down into my project. Once I'm confident that I've scraped it enough, I then peel the transfer tape, and this is going to reveal the vinyl that is now on your project. Now it's time for some finishing touches. I added some greenery to the top of my wreath as well as some mini ornaments. And that's how I created this personalized wreath. I see things like this sold all the time on Etsy, and it's so easy to do using your Cricut Explore 3. You can make these to sell, you can make them to gift. It's simple and easy to do, like I said. For our next DIY, we're going to be using the wooden boxes with the wooden drawers from Dollar Tree. When purchasing your boxes, keep in mind some of the boxes are a little bit bigger and some are a little bit smaller, as you can see here. So you want to put boxes that are similar to each other in size next to each other. Now I'm going to be using wood glue to attach my boxes together. I am going to create a Christmas tree shape with these boxes. We're going to be making an advent calendar. I use 25 boxes for 25 days in December. You can use less if you like. I'm not going to be painting my drawers, so I pull them out and I place them down in the order that I pull them out, so I make sure each drawer goes into the box it came with. Then I go ahead and I paint my Christmas tree. I used a really nice green spray paint, and I kind of want to go with a Scandinavian Christmas tree look with this. Once I had my tree painted and dried, I put the boxes back in, and I ended up painting the bottom 4 boxes with a brown paint that I watered down. You're going to go into your Cricut design space and click on images. In the search bar, I typed in holly berry, and you can see there's so many different pictures to choose from. So I went ahead and I chose this holly berry, and I go ahead and I duplicated. I started to move it around so I can make sure I get as much real estate on my vinyl as possible. Once I'm done, I go ahead and click the Make It button. This is going to bring me to the setup page. I'm going to choose Without Matte for the green part of the holly berry. You'll then click Continue and choose the type of material that you're using. In this case, I am using some smart vinyl. It's the permanent vinyl in the color grass, which is just a green vinyl. Another thing that's different from the Cricut Explore 3 versus the Cricut Explore 2 is that the Explore 3 cuts up to 2 times faster than the Explore 2, and let me tell you, you can tell there is a big difference in the speed in which it cuts. We do pretty much the same thing we did with the wreath vinyl. You're going to weed out any excess vinyl that you do not want. So there's going to be the main piece of vinyl, and then you're going to have to go into the intricate details that is in your vinyl and remove any excess vinyl. So for me, with the holly berry, it was the leaves of it that I wanted to get rid of. I'm going to cut my red vinyl on a mat, so I have to click on mat as my material loading type. And then I click the set base material as premium vinyl permanent glossy. So this is different from the smart vinyl. This one I need to cut on a mat. So I load my mat up with my red vinyl, and then I cut that out And again, you're going to just repeat the weeding process. Now it's time to decorate our Christmas tree. I'm just using my fingers to pick up the holly berry leaves and place them down on the boxes. These pieces of holly berry are pretty easy to work with and lift directly off of the sheet. For the berries themselves, I use the Cricut transfer tape, and this makes it easy for you to position your design exactly where you want it to be. And since it's a bunch of little berries, you want them to be in the perfect spot to go over the holly berry. So make sure you're using transfer tape to get that perfect position. It's time to create some handles for our advent calendar. I'm going to be using the wooden beads from Dollar Tree. I go ahead and glue them down with some wood glue, and it's going to go over the vinyl, but it's still going to be able to go through the wood so that they're nicely attached to the drawers. I wanted the holly berry and the wood beads to be down first before I was going to go ahead and add the numbers to the boxes. I was going to have the numbers work around those designs rather than the designs work around the numbers. So in my design space, I go ahead and just type out numbers, figured out the font that I wanted to use. It's called Christina. I cut it out on some gold Cricut vinyl. I then go ahead and start transferring all of those numbers onto my boxes. I had one at the very top and I ended with the number 25 at the bottom of the tree, but you can mess around with those numbers. I know some people have the numbers just kind of bouncing all over the tree.
And that's how you make your very own advent calendar. Obviously, fill them up with whatever you like. I made a miniature version of this, and this one was made with 12 boxes. So just in case you don't want something too big or you don't want to do all 25 boxes, you can shorten it up and then refill it as the days go by.
Our next DIY is one of my favorite Christmas DIYs I've ever done. From Dollar Tree, you're going to pick up their wooden crates, and you're going to paint them whatever color you like. I went with a red spray paint, and I only use spray paint because it's so much easier than trying to paint each of these crates individually. I used 9 crates. You can use as many as you like. So I'm going to create 3 rows with 3 crates in each row, and I just use my hot glue gun to attach the crates together. I'm going to have the front row and then the back row, but the back row is going to be tiered. So to create that height, I glue 3 crates on top of 3 crates. I'm going to be creating a picture frame for this project. To create that picture frame, I'm going to be using some craft wood that I got from Dollar Tree. The paint I used on this wood is from Apple Barrel, and it is in the color Real Red, which is a great Christmas color. Once I had that all painted and dried, I then glued all of those pieces together using wood glue. Once that has dried, I attached the frame to the back of my crates using just hot glue. For this project, in my Cricut design space, I went to images and I just typed in hot chocolate and found an image that I liked. I went ahead and placed that inside of my project and changed the color to white. A cool thing about design space is you can take different images inside of there and group them together to create a new image. So I went ahead and I chose a border that I liked in the image search bar, and I went ahead, placed that over my hot chocolate sign and changed the color of that to white as well. I also added 2 cups to this picture. They have really cute hot chocolate cup options in the image search. I went ahead and I duplicated the first cup and then flip it around to mirror the other cup. I want this image to cut exactly how you see it on the screen, so I have to attach all of this together. So what you'll do is you'll click every single image that you want to attach together and then right click and click attach. This makes it so that your Cricut cuts on the cutting mat exactly how everything is positioned on your canvas. I cut this down on a mat. This is a bigger image, so I had to use a 12 by 24 mat. The Cricut design space tells you usually what mat you have to use. So I go ahead, place my vinyl inside, and I let the magic happen. Now this piece I am going to be placing on a piece of black foam board that I got from Dollar Tree, and of course I cut it down to fit the back of my picture frame. I don't glue the foam board first before placing the vinyl. I place the vinyl down first and then I glue on the foam board. And I did this because when I'm filming from the side, so I wanted to make sure everything was nice and lined up. So I placed the vinyl first, figure that out, and then I glue it down, because when I'm filming from the side, it's really hard to see how straight I am. When you place this on top of your foam board, you don't want to rub in the vinyl too much, otherwise you can end up taking off the foam board with the transfer tape, just because the transfer tape is so strong. To the front of each crate, I'm going to glue down one of these chalkboard tags, and on those chalkboard tags, I went ahead and placed the vinyl that had the ingredient that's inside of each crate. So you can do whatever you like. I did marshmallows, cinnamon sticks, and the font that I used in my Cricut design space was the Arial Bold font. Now all that's left to do is glue on the tags to the front of your crates, and then fill up your crates with whatever ingredients it is that you are using. If you're afraid that the ingredients might get stale, you can go ahead and put them inside of little baggies, maybe little saran wrap or a plastic wrap, and just use something to tie it up. And that's how you make your hot chocolate mini bar. You can put whatever you want inside of there. Like I said, you could put things in plastic bags if you're worried that they're going to get stale, or like seal the paint in, different things that you can do. But I love the way that this came out. You can switch this around to even be a coffee bar. There's a bunch of different options for this. Now this is a fun one. We're going to be customizing these slippers that I got at Dollar Tree. In your Cricut design space, go ahead and start typing out whatever it is that you like. So I'm going to do some Mama Bear slippers and Papa Bear slippers. I want a specific width and height for my lettering. To have that specific width and height, I have to unlock the width and height. So where it says W and H at the top bar, you'll see a little lock. When you click the lock, it unlocks it. If you click it again, it locks it. I have to unlock it so I can get the exact dimensions that I want. If I do not have that unlocked, I'm going to get dimensions that the Cricut just kind of generates on its own. Once I have my words down in the size that I want them to be, I'm going to click Make It. I'll be using a Smart Iron-On vinyl, so I'm going to click Without Matte, because I do not need a matte if I'm using Smart Vinyl. When using Smart Iron-On material, you need to make sure that you mirror the image so that the wording or image go on correctly to whatever material it is that you're placing it on, rather than backwards. I'm setting my base material as my Smart Iron-On material, and you can see there's a warning telling me to make sure that I mirror the image and to place my iron-on material face down with the shiny part down. And then I go ahead and I cut out my vinyl. After that is cut down, I go ahead and I just weed everything out. I then take a scissor and cut out my words. To adhere my iron-on vinyl, I'm going to be using the Cricut Easy Press. It's a heat tool designed specifically for adding iron-on materials to your projects. It gives you a professional iron-on result in 60 seconds or less. You can use the Cricut Easy Press on shirts, bags, pillows, banners, shoes, you name it, and on a bunch of different materials. You can use the Cricut Easy Press on shirts, bags, pillows, shoes, hats, you name it, and on a bunch of different materials. So what you'll do is you'll go to Cricut's Heat Guide. It is a website. Just Google Cricut Heat Guide. Choose the machine that you're using. I'm using the Cricut Easy Press 2, and then you're going to choose your heat transfer material. I'm using a Smart Iron-On, and my base material is polyester. You'll have to click if you're going to be using your Cricut Easy Press mat or towel. I'm using the Cricut Easy Press. I click apply, and then it will show me how I need to temp my Easy Press and how many seconds I need to hold the Easy Press over my material. It gives me the exact steps I need to get a perfect iron on. So I have to set my Easy Press to 315 degrees and then set the time for 30 seconds. To do this, I press the on button and then I click the temp button. There's a plus and minus sign on the right side of the Easy Press, and that's what you use to raise the temp or lower the temp. For the time, you just press the alarm clock looking button on the left, and then again, to raise the time, you press the plus button. To lower the time, you press the minus button. Now place your material on top of your Easy mat, and you are going to put your press on top of the material for 5 seconds. It'll help get rid of wrinkles, making it easier for your iron-on to adhere to your material. Now place your iron-on top of whatever it is that you are making. So in this case, I'm doing the slippers. Then you'll need a piece of fabric between the Easy Press and your slippers. So I'm actually just using the bag that the Easy Press came in. I place it over my slipper, then I put the Easy Press on top of that and press the Cricut button that is on the very right of my Easy Press, and this will start the countdown. As I hold my Easy Press in place, I put a light, firm pressure onto the polyester because the heat guide told me so. It's really easy to do. It doesn't matter what material it is that you are using. Once you do the initial iron-on, you flip the material over, place that fabric between the material and your Easy Press, and do another 15 seconds, and this will really help the iron-on get into place. Then wait for the plastic to cool down, and once it is cooled down, you can then go ahead and remove it, leaving your iron-on in place. How cool is this? I am able to customize anything that I want. I see slippers like this in store every single year. I was able to make this for under $2. I even was able to customize the Dollar Tree throw pillow covers. I went into my design space, I typed in Christmas and chose a Christmas image that I liked, and I cut this one down on some glitter smart vinyl. As you guys know, this is polyester, so we're doing the exact same thing. First, we want to iron this out, and of course I had to do this for more than 5 seconds because I'm using a bigger surface. And then I am going to place my vinyl down and do 315 degrees for 30 seconds. But I did 30 seconds in each corner of my design because it is a bigger design. I then flip this over, do the exact same thing, but this time for 15 seconds. Wait for the plastic to cool down and then peel. Again, for under $2, I just made a really pretty Christmas throw pillow cover. And truly my favorite of it all, customizing the Christmas elves from Dollar Tree. I never knew how people did this, and once I got a Cricut, I was like, oh wow, that's how people do it. The Dollar Tree elves didn't say what type of material they are, so I just went with polyester because I feel like that's what everything is made out of from Dollar Tree. It could be a cotton, but polyester setting worked just fine for the Dollar Tree elves. Same thing, I go ahead, iron it out for 5 seconds, place the vinyl on top of that, do the 315 degrees for 30 seconds, flip it over, wait for the plastic to dry, and then peel. And I love these so much. This is a perfect Christmas gift, a perfect stocking stuffer. You can do the names, you can do the year. It is so easy to do and so inexpensive to make. And this is a great piece to sell. If you're trying to make your money back that you put into the Cricut, this is a great piece to sell. The items you can customize are endless. And at Dollar Tree, there's a bunch of pieces you can pick up, and the Cricut works great on those items. Our final DIY is going to be based off of this ornament right here. From Dollar Tree, I picked up a brownie pan, and I'm painting that red. I'm using apple barrel paint in Candy Apple. And then I'm going to paint these wood rounds that I got from Dollar Tree black. I used my Cricut to cut out some vinyl that said Merry Christmas. I made it about 1 inch in height, and I'm putting that on the side of my brownie pan. I then glue the wood rounds to both sides of the brownie pans so they end up looking like wheels. Now in my Cricut design space, I went to images and I'm looking for a gingerbread man, peppermint, and candy cane. So we're gonna start off with the gingerbread man. I found this one that I liked. I added him to my design space, and I'm gonna right click and press ungroup, and this is just gonna make layers to each color of the gingerbread man. I'm gonna duplicate some of the layers because I'm gonna be making 2 gingerbread men. Now this is actually gonna be cut on craft foam, and I'm gonna have to use a mat. The mat I'm using is a strong grip mat. So when I go to make it, it's gonna bring me to the setup page, and I'm gonna click on mat. I'm gonna have to set my base material to craft foam. To do this, I'm just gonna click browse all materials and type in craft foam. It'll come up as a selection and I go ahead and click that. Now I'm going to be using a deep cutting blade. So basically it's the black blade that you can buy for the Cricut. So I go ahead and load that up into my Cricut. Then I start to cut the material. So the first one I cut was some brown foam, and I went ahead and cut it so nicely, these gingerbread men. And you do the same thing that you would the vinyl. You're just going to lift up where the foam is, just lift it right up, and then it's going to reveal your design. Because there's very small details in my gingerbread man, there was a few pieces that I had to push out. So I did this with every color layer that there is for the gingerbread man. I used a green foam, I used a red foam, and then in my Cricut design space, as I said, I looked up peppermint, and I also found a candy cane that I like, and I do the same thing. I had cut it on white foam and red foam, and then I just lift it up, and you can see it reveals the design. Now I have to glue all of these layers together, so I just took some craft glue and I glue every layer together. And I love using the Cricut to cut foam. You can do so many cool things with foam. Time to decorate our wagon. I'm going to be using these bottle brush trees from Dollar Tree, as well as this wood round. Initially I was going to use the wood round to create some height for one of the trees, but you're going to see in a second I'm going to move things around a little bit. Glued candy canes to my gingerbread's hands, and then I glued the two gingerbreads together. I then glue those to the front of my wood round so that they're standing up. Then I took my two peppermint pieces, glued those together, and then I decided I wanted to create a little height with them, so I got some bamboo sticks and glued them to the back of the peppermint. I realized they look like lollipops, so it was really cool, so I decided to paint the sticks red to make them look even more like lollipops. And I go ahead and slide the bamboo stick through the hole that's on my wood round so that they're able to stand up straight, and I put them toward the back of the wagon. I added these smaller bottle brush trees. It's a 6-pack, so I just kind of put them all around the back, and I glued some toward the front. The final things I did was glue on some handles. The handles were cut using the Cricut and on some black foam. And then I added some white circles. Again, the Cricut cut those up for me on some foam, and I glued those to the front of my wheels. And now I have like a bigger version of my smaller ornament. It's so cool. Like I said, I love to cut foam on my Cricut. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks so much to Cricut for sponsoring this video, and thanks to you guys, because honestly without you guys I wouldn't have a sponsor. So thank you so much for supporting this channel. It means a lot to me. I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.